Sir, like 12:50 ವರೆಗೂ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. Good morning, students. Here we start with the next chapter for the NEET discussion, neural control and coordination. Section 8 topic wise questions. The first topic, topic 1, neural system and human neural system. The first question, the process by which two or more organs interact and complement the function of one another is called. We know that the two systems, especially the nervous system and endocrine system, nothing but what we call neuroendocrinal system, they are involved in bringing about coordination between the different organ systems of the body, different organs of the body, to maintain homeostasis, to perform any kind of function. We require nervous system as well as the endocrine system, so that the system, the process by which two or more organs interact and complement functions of one another is called coordination. So answer for the question number 1 is B, coordination. Now question number 2. Question number 2, the human neural system is divided in two. So the nervous system of a humans is basically, it is divided into as follows, students, as they have given here. First one is two parts, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Second one is two parts, central nervous system and autonomous nervous system. Option C is three parts, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system and autonomous nervous system. Option D, three parts, forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. So the human neural system, we know that it is broadly divided into two parts, that is central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So central nervous system is comprised of brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system is comprised of autonomous and somatic nervous system, what we're going to see. So question number 2, answer is A, two parts. The human neural system is divided into two parts, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Now question number 3. Question number 3, recognize the figure and find out the correct matching. Again, it is based on human nervous system classification, that is how it is divided. Human neural system is broadly classified into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. In turn, the central nervous system, as I said, is comprised of the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves, that is brain and spinal cord. The nerves coming from the cranial, that is brain, and nerves coming from the spinal cord. And then peripheral nervous system includes autonomic neural system and somatic neural system. Autonomic nervous system, or also what we call the somatic nervous system, and the autonomic neural system. So central nervous system is comprised of, first one is brain, second is spinal cord, third one somatic neural system, fourth one autonomic neural system. So answer for the question 3 is C. Now question 4, all the nerves of the body associated with the central nervous system, brain and spinal cord, comprised in. Question number 4, all the nerves of the body associated with the central nervous system, brain and spinal cord, comprised in peripheral neural system. So question number 4, A is peripheral nervous system, B is somatic neural system, C is autonomic neural system, and D is sympathetic neural system. So all the nerves of the body associated with the central nervous system is comprised in, where we will find peripheral nervous system. You know that the peripheral nervous system, which is connected with each and every cell of a body or each and every part of the body, which in turn it is going to connect itself with the spinal cord, through the spinal cord to the brain. So this peripheral nervous system is in connection with the central nervous system. Now question number 5, students. Question number 5, the dash nerve, that is dash nerve fiber transmit impulse from tissues, organs to central nervous system. That is the nerve which is getting information from different organs and tissues into the central nervous system. And dash nerve B is nerve fiber transmit regulatory impulse from the central nervous system to the concerned peripheral tissues. Basically, nerves are classified into two types, students. That is afferent nerves and afferent nerve. So what are afferent nerves? Nerves which are getting information into the central nervous system. The nerves which are getting information into the central nervous system are called afferent nerves, whereas nerves which are getting information away from, or else getting away to, that is from the central nervous system to the different parts of the body, getting away from the central nervous system is called as afferent. So if you go through here, question number 5, the A is the afferent nerve fiber transmit impulse from the tissues, organs to the central nervous system. And the B, that is afferent nerve fiber transmit regulatory impulse from the central nervous system to the concerned peripheral tissues. So question number 5 answer is A, students. Now question number 6. Read the following statement and find out the incorrect statement. Question number 6. Read the following statement and find out the incorrect statement. A statement is the central nervous system is the site of information processing and control. We know that the central nervous system is the one where it is capable of receiving the stimulation and process them and read what it is, then bring about control of a given message. So central nervous system is a site of information processing and control is a right statement. B statement, what it reads is the somatic neural system relays impulses from the central nervous system to the involuntary organs and smooth muscles of the body. You know that this statement B. Whereas, what about the statement C? The autonomic neural system transmits impulse from the central nervous system to the skeletal muscle. And statement D, the autonomic neural system is further classified into sympathetic and parasympathetic neural system. So if you see, the statement D is right and statement A are right. So statement A says the CNS is a site of information processing and control. Right, it is. Statement D says D, the autoimmune neural system is further classified into sympathetic. We know that autonomous nervous system is classified into sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Now, what are the two statements are wrong? That is B and C. What are those B and C? B is somatic neural system relays impulses from the central nervous system is right, but it is going to, somatic nervous system is going to control the skeletal muscle, which is voluntary in nature, whereas in a statement B, what it say is central nervous system to the involuntary organs and smooth muscles of the body, it is showing. So question number 6, statement B is wrong. And what about the statement C? The autonomic nervous system transmits impulse from the central nervous system is right, but to the smooth muscle, not to the skeletal, because smooth muscle are involuntary. Self-regulated autonomic nervous system is going to control smooth muscle, whereas somatic nervous system is going to control the voluntary skeletal muscle. So B and C statements are wrong, whereas remaining statement, that is A and D, are right. So question number 6 answer is B. That is statement B and C are wrong. Now question number 7, students. Question number 7, the number of cranial nerves in mammals that are purely sensory are. Here we know that there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves coming from the cranium or brain. So these two, among the 12 pairs, there are 3 pairs which are purely sensory, that is first cranial nerve, second cranial nerve, and eighth cranial nerve are purely sensory, whereas the remaining what we have is the third, fourth, fifth, and 11th are motor nerves, and fifth, seventh, ninth, and 10th are mixed. But in the question, they are asking the number of cranial nerves in a mammals that are purely sensory are. Purely sensory are 3. That is, first one what we call as olfactory nerve, second one what we call as the optic nerve, And eighth one, what we call it as a vestibulocochlear nerve. Olfactory nerve, sense of a smell. Optic nerve, sense of the vision. And vestibulocochlear is involved in getting sense of hearing as well as body balancing. So that three nerves are purely sensory in nature. Among the 12 pairs of cranial nerves, three pairs are purely sensory. So question number 7, answer is C, that is purely sensory. Now question number 8, student. Afferent nerve fibers carry impulses from. So as I said already, afferent nerve fibers, we have discussed what are afferent nerve fibers. These are the sensory nerves which are transferring the impulses from different sense organs into the central nervous system. So this afferent nerves are transferring, or afferent nerve fibers carry impulses from receptor to central nervous system. Receptors of the different sensory organs will receive the sensation or stimulation, and they will transfer it into the central nervous system, where it will be processed and it will be given out as a message through the effector, what we call as the afferent nerves. So question number 8, afferent nerve fibers carry impulses from receptor to central nervous system. Question number 8b is the answer. Question number 9, one stimulation sympathetic on stimulation sympathetic nervous system. We know that the autonomous nervous system is classified into two types, that is sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system as the excitatory, accelerating, increasing effect on some of the organs, especially on the heart, whereas parasympathetic is inhibitory, where on the heart, and it is also acting as excitatory in different parts. So they have the different roles in the body. Now question number 9, stimulation of sympathetic nervous system, what it is going to do? Increase the sweat secretion, right? And it is going to decrease the tear secretion, is also right, and decrease the saliva. See, the sympathetic nerve has the activating effect on sweat secretion and inhibiting effect on the tear secretion and saliva secretion. So question number 9, all of the above are right. Option D, on stimulation sympathetic nervous system, all of the above are right. Question number 10, in a rabbit, a mammal, the cranial nerve associated with the sense of the body balance. Sense of the body balance. You know, mammals, the as I said, cranial nerves in mammals and birds are 12 pairs, whereas fishes, reptiles, and amphibians are 10 pairs. That is last, that is 11th and 12th. Accessory nerve and hypoglossal nerve is absent in fishes, reptiles, and amphibians. Here in the question, they are asking, question number 10, in rabbit mammals, the cranial nerve associated with the sense of the body balance is, it is what we call it as vestibulocochlear. The number is 8th one. 8th cranial nerve is associated with the body balance control. So question number 10, answer is B, that is body balance control is done by the 8th cranial nerve. Now question number 11, supply of blood is in visceral organs is controlled by. Supply of blood in visceral organs is controlled by. Question number 11. So what is the answer? First, visceral organs. Supply of blood in visceral organs controlled by sensory nervous system. Involuntary, they are telling wrong. Sensory nervous system, voluntary, it is right, but partly, as well as the primary, we also have the peripheral nervous system. Involuntary, that sensory nervous system, and peripheral nervous system, and they are involuntary. We know that the visceral organs are controlled by the smooth, and the blood supplied to the visceral organs is also not under the control of a willpower. So this SNS, that is central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system, and that is involuntary in nature. Question number 11, answer is D. Now question number 12, parasympathetic nervous system is not involved in parasympathetic nervous system is not involved in. As I said, both of them they'll perform various roles. Parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for the peristalsis. That is option A. What they have given peristalsis. That is the rhythmic contraction of alimentary canal, which will allow the swallowing of food as well as the movement of undigested waste substance. This peristalsis is controlled by parasympathetic nerve. Secretion of saliva is also controlled by the parasympathetic nerve. That is B option. And the D, that is excitation of reproductive organs, is also controlled by parasympathetic nerve. Whereas dilation of the pupillary, that is pupillary dilation of iris, that is pupil dilation, is done by the sympathetic nerve, not the parasympathetic nerve. So parasympathetic nervous system is not involved in dilation of pupil. Question number 12, answer is C. Now question number 13, body coordination is maintained by. Question number 13, body coordination is maintained by A. Circulatory system, B. Nervous system, C. Endocrine system, D. Both B and C. We call it as neuroendocrinal system. As I said in the beginning, only this neuroendocrinal system is responsible for the maintaining the body coordination. Now, question number 14. 14th question. Eye muscles are inverted by. Eye muscles are inverted by the movement of the eyes are controlled by. That is, the optic nerve is purely sensor, where it is controlling only the iris. Whereas the movement of the muscles of the eye, the eyelids and movement of the inner eyeball movement, all that these are muscular movements. These are controlled by the three muscles. One is oculomotor, which is pure oculomotor, trochlear, and abducens. So the three eye muscles are innervated. That is the movement of a eyeball or movement of muscle which are present around a eye is controlled by three muscles. That is oculomotor, trochlear, and abducens. Question number 14. Answer is B, students. Now question number 15. Again they are asking same. Cranial nerves supplying eyes are. Cranial nerves supplying eyes are as follows. We know that the question number 15, we have just discussed oculomotor. That is oculomotor, nothing but it is third nerve, and second one is a trochlear. Trochlear, what we have is the fourth one, and the last abducens, nothing but the sixth one. So total supplying eyes are cranial nerve 3, cranial nerve 4, and cranial nerve 6. Question number 15. Cranial nerve supplying eyes are 3, 4, 6. Now, question number 16. Two extracranial nerves found in a rabbit slash humans are. Question number 16, if you go through your students, as I mentioned already, the birds and the mammals, that is, even if you take birds also, the rabbit is a mammal, and humans, they will show two extracranial nerves. As I said, remaining, if you go through here, fishes, amphibians, and reptiles, they have 10 pairs of cranial nerves. Whereas the mammals have 12 pairs of cranial nerves. What are the two extra pairs which we will find only in the mammals? It includes that first option, hypoglossal and spinal accessory. Exactly right. This hypoglossal and spinal accessory are the two extra pairs of nerves coming out of the cranium only in the mammals and birds. So this accessory nerve is involved in connection with the pharynx, larynx, neck, shoulder, and controls the movement of these organs. Whereas hypoglossal nerves, it is mainly motor nerve which controls the movements of the tongue. So hypoglossal nerve is capable of controlling the movement of the tongue. So these two are the extra muscles where we'll find in mammals. So question number 16, answer is A itself, students. So this pneumogastric muscle where we'll find, now we will not find glossopharyngeal is existing in both the mammals as well as in other organisms. So answer for the question number 16 is A, hypoglossal and spinal nerve, students. Question number 17, sympathetic nervous system increases. Sympathetic nervous system increases, as I said already, that it is mainly involved in increasing the heart rate. So first statement, 17 question, first statement is right, heartbeat. Second statement, secretion of saliva. Actually, sympathetic nerves inhibit the secretion of saliva, as well as they will inhibit the secretion of digestive juices. So D option, all of the above will be wrong. So sympathetic nervous system increases heartbeat. Question number 17, answer is it is increasing the heartbeat. Question number 18, common neurotransmitter of a peripheral nervous system is the most common neurotransmitter substance. So neurotransmitters are chemical messengers, the nerve messengers, which will be released through the ends of the nerve synaptic knobs, which are stored actually in the vesicles. They will bind to the next postsynaptic nerve or a neuromuscular junction. It will bind to sarcolemma and bring about the effect. So the most active, there are two types of neurotransmitter, that is activating the process, that is excitatory neurotransmitter and inhibitory neurotransmitter. So here question is about common neurotransmitter of peripheral nervous system. Most of the peripheral nervous system common neurotransmitter what we will find is acetylcholine, which is a excitatory neurotransmitter. Among this, colchicine, epinephrine. Epinephrine is also neurotransmitter. Colchicine is not a neurotransmitter, whereas GABA is a neurotransmitter. But GABA is the inhibitory neurotransmitter. Answer here for the question 18, that is option D, acetylcholine, common neurotransmitter of peripheral nervous system. So question number 18 answer is D. Question number 19, which part of the nervous system is activated under stress? Under stress, you know that whenever there is a stressful condition, we know that the sympathetic nervous system. A is whole autonomous nervous system is activated, parasympathetic nervous system is activated, and C is sympathetic nervous system, and D is spinal cord. We know that whenever there is a stress in the human body, mainly the sympathetic nervous system is going to be activated. That will increase the blood, that is heart rate will be increased, blood pumping and respiration rate, it is going to increase by the action of parasympathetic nervous system. So this under stress, the nervous system which is going to be activated is sympathetic nervous system. C is the answer for question number 19. Question number 20, a cranial nerve with the maximum branches in the body. A cranial nerve with the maximum branches in the body is, you know, this vagus nerve is the longest. First option what they have given is vagus nerve is the longest nerve in the body. Vagus nerve is the longest nerve. Auditory nerve, what it is having, the second one, auditory nerve is not the what we maximum branches it is having. Facial nerve is also not the maximum branches. Trigeminal is the one where it is having maximum branches. This trigeminal nerve which is there, trigeminal nerve has the ability to, you know, so branched it as the ophthalmic nerve, maxillary nerve, and mandibular nerve. That means it is controlling as a sensory, it is controlling the what we call it as lacrimal glands, conjunctiva, as well as the eye orbit, sensory, and it is also controlling the motor action, sensory action of maxills and motor action of mandibular nerve. Trigeminal nerve is the highest branches containing nerve in the body is trigeminal, whereas vagus nerve is the longest nerve. Trochlear nerve is the smallest or thinnest nerve in the body. So question number 20, answer is D. Question number 21, excessive stimulation of vagus nerve may lead to, excessive stimulation of vagus nerve may lead to what? Horus wise, it is not going to, no, vagus nerve is not connected with the wise box or anything. Peptic ulcer, B. C is efficient digestion of proteins. No, vagus nerve is the longest nerve where it is connected with the heart and the stomach and some of the intestine part, where as it is connected with the stomach, the excessive stimulation of vagus nerve will secrete a more of acid in the stomach that will result in the peptic ulcers. So question number 21, answer is B. Excessive stimulation of vagus nerve may lead to peptic ulcers. So question number 21, B is the answer. Question number 22, cranial nerve called dentist nerve is, question number 22, which is called as dentist nerve, that is among the cranial, which is called as I said, the most of the mouth parts, if you take this ophthalmic part as well as a maxillary nerve and a mandibular nerve, they are branched out from the trigeminal. So cranial nerve called the dentist nerve is trigeminal nerve. This is the nerve number, what we call trigeminal is a fifth cranial nerve, is called as dentist nerve. Question number 22. Question number 23, intercellular communication in a multicellular organisms occurs through, intercellular communication in a multicellular organisms occurs through. Keep in mind, A is a digestive system where it is involved in digestion. B is in the nervous system. Nervous system is not bringing about intercellular. It is actually transferring the stimulations or the messengers from the nervous system to the various parts of the body. Different organs it is going to control directly. But in between the cells, the intercellular communication in multicellular organism occur through both nervous system and endocrine system. So both the neuroendocrine system togetherly they are called as is responsible for the intercellular communication in multicellular organisms. Question number 24. Tongue taste is under control of. Question number 24. Tongue taste is under control. Taste buds. You know that the movement of the tongue is controlled by hypoglossal nerve, but it is not sensory, it is motor, that is moving of the tongue during chewing or while talking or speaking. This help in movement of the tongue. Whereas here question is tongue taste buds controlled. Tongue taste buds are controlled by the facial nerves. The facial nerve, that is cranial nerve number 7, is responsible. The facial nerve, what it is, the first one, tongue taste is under the control of facial nerve. Question number 24, facial nerve, students. Question number 25, choose the type of nervous system and type of muscle supplying visceral organs. Question number 25, you have to find the type of nervous system and which type of muscle is going to supply. Sympathetic nervous system is voluntary, it is telling. Question number 25, sympathetic nervous system voluntary, sympathetic nervous system involuntary, parasympathetic nervous system involuntary. Sympathetic Parasympathetic nervous system will be supplying nerves to the involuntary is right, students. So question number 25 is C is the answer. Question number 26, in man, abducens nerve is injured. Which of the following function will be affected? Question number 26. Abducens nerve, as I said, you know, this abducens nerve is responsible for the controlling lateral rectus muscles of the eyeball. So which will be helping in the movements of eyeball. So abducens nerve is if it is affected, movement of eyeball will be not possible, or it is not correctly coordinated. Question number 26, answer is A. Now, question number 27, students, match the columns and find out the correct combination. Question number 27, A, cervical nerves. Cervical nerves, you know that the total of spinal nerves in our body, what we have is like around 31 pairs of spinal nerves are there. Among the 31 pairs, what they have given is here few. How many cervical nerves we going to find? Cervical nerves present here are 8 pairs. 8 pairs of cervical nerves, thoracic 12 pairs, lumbar 5 pairs, coccygeal nerves is 1 pair. So answer for the question number 27, A is 4, B is 3, C is 1, and D is 2. So answer is B, students. Question number 27, answer is B. Now, question number 28, parasympathetic nerve endings release. Parasympathetic nerve endings will release the inhibitory. As I said, the sympathetic are excitatory and parasympathetic are inhibitory. Excitatory substances, epinephrine, adrenaline, acetylcholine, noradrenaline will comes under the excitatory neurotransmitters, whereas GABA is, that is, inhibitory neurotransmitters. Question number 28, parasympathetic nerve endings releases GABA. Question number 28, answer is B, which is inhibitory in nature. Question number 29, second cranial nerve supply. You know the second cranial nerve is called as an optic nerve, which will supply to only retina of the eye. So that is purely optic, that is sense of vision, purely sensor, and it will be supplying to only the retina of the eye. The eye is supplied by 3 or more nerves, and the movement of eyeball muscle and the movement of eyelids, second cranial nerve supplies retina only. Question number 29, D, retina only. Question number 30, facial nerve arising from medulla is. Question number 30, facial nerve arising from medulla. Question number 30, medulla, what we will see is, will be showing the two facial nerves. What are those? One is motor, another one is sensory, both A and B. Facial nerve arising from medulla is both motor. It's a kind of mixed type, mixed nerve, what we call it as, both motor and sensory in nature. Now, students, the remaining question of this concept you can discuss further. Question will now move to the next topic, that is topic 2, neuron as a structural and functional unit of neural system. So neuron, the cell of the nervous system, what we call it as structural and functional unit of nervous system. So first question what we have here is generation and conduction of nerve impulse, transmission of impulse. First question number 35. Which of the following cells can detect, receive, and transmit different kinds of stimuli? We know that the cells which are capable of receiving and transferring the stimulation are called neuron. The nephron is found in kidney, were involved in the filtration, whereas neuroglia are the nutritive supportive cells or nourishing cells of the nervous system, brain, and macrophages are human cells. Question number 35, neuron is answer. Question number 36, Nessels granules are not found in. So Nessel granules, the minute granules where we will see only in the cell body, we're going to find in the cell body, and they are not found. Question number 36, they are not found in the axon. Sometimes you'll see dendrites also have a Nessel granules, because dendrite is a part of cell body only. So Nessel granules are not found in axon. B is the answer. Question number 37, the axon is a long fiber, the distal end of which is branched. Each branch terminates as a bulb-like structure called. You know that The whole of a nervous system consists of, neuron structure consists of the dendrites. If you come from up to down, dendrites, cell body, axon, axon terminals. The ends of the axon terminals, what we call them as the synaptic knobs. So here question number 37, the axon is a long fiber, the distal end of which is branched. Each branch transmits as a bulb-like structure called. A is dendrites, it's not a part of axon. B is nodes of Ranvier. The gaps present between myelin sheath squamous cells is called as nodes of Ranvier. Myelin sheath is formed of squamous cells in myelinated neurons. So answer for the question number 37, synaptic knob is the answer. Now question number 38, read the following statement and find out the incorrect statement. Question number 38, incorrect statement you need to find. Dendrites transmit impulses away from the cell body to synapse. Dendrites transmit impulses away from the cell body to synapse. They are telling no. It is going to receive from the synapse and transfer it to the cell body. From the cell body, it will be transferred into axon. So question number 38, read the following statement, find out the incorrect statement they are asking. A statement is incorrect, student, because dendrite transmit impulse towards the cell body of the axon, a cell body of the neuron, and from the cell body to axon, axon to neuromuscular junction. Not away from, it will be towards. 38B statement, what it states is synaptic knobs possesses synaptic vesicles containing chemicals called neurotransmitter. This statement B is correct. You know that the vesicles present at a synaptic knobs, they will be pushed towards the knob and ruptured and releases into neuromuscular junction or the synapse, neural synapse. Question number 38B statement is right. Now question number 38C statement, based on the number of axon and dendrites, the neurons are divided into three types. Yes, we have studied about this. That is classification of neurons based on the number of dendrites and axons they are having into unipolar, bipolar, multipolar. Unipolar, nothing but where it has only one axon will be present, no dendrites at all, where we'll find in embryonic stage. Bipolar, nothing but there will be presence of one axon and one dendrite. This is found in the retina of the eye. Multipolar, nothing but many dendrites and an axon, where we'll find in the central nervous system or cerebral cortex. Now, so all the statements to the question number 38 are right, except the first statement. What it states is 38. A is the answer. Dendrite transmit impulses away from the cell body to synapse is wrong. It is towards the cell body to synapse is right. 38 answer is A. Now, question number 39. Match the column 1 and column 2. 39. Match the column 1 and column 2. They are asking students. Column 1, first one, unipolar neuron. Unipolar neuron, as I mentioned already, contain only one axon, that is embryonic stage we're going to find. Bipolar neurons are found in the retina of the eye, where it helps in transferring the stimulation received by the retina to the optic nerve. Now, multipolar neurons are found in cerebral cortex. So A is 2, B is 3, C is 1. A is 2, B is 3, C is 1. We will find an option C. 39 is C. 40. Again, it is based on the same. Match the column 1 and 2 and choose the correct combinations from the options given. A is unipolar neuron. Unipolar neuron, what we will see is cell body with one axon. B, bipolar neuron, one axon, one dendrite. C, multipolar neuron, one axon and two or more dendrites. So A is 2, B is 1, C is 3. So answer is A is 2, B is A is 2, B is 1, C is 3. Answer is D, students. Question number 40D. Question number 41. Squamous cells are found in, the squamous cells are present on the axon, both in the myelinated nerve fibers as well as unmyelinated nerve fibers, whereas in the myelinated nerve fibers, the myelin sheath is formed of squamous cells, and there will be space present between the squamous cells, what we call it as nodes of Ranvier, whereas unmyelinated nerve fibers, the squamous cells are not going to form a myelin sheath. So squamous cells are found in both A and B, that is myelinated nerve fibers as well as unmyelinated nerve fibers. Question number 41, C is answer. Question number 42, match column 1 and 2 and choose the correct combinations from the option given. Column 1, column 2. Column 1 is myelinated nerve fibers. So as I said, the myelinated nerve fibers are mainly found in the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves, because these are insulated and they will block. Presence of myelin sheath on the axon will help in transferring the signals or the neurotransmitter substance or the messages in the right direction, because the cranial nerves and spinal nerves are present in the group. Many of the neurons will be present. The presence of myelin sheath will insulate the axon and allow the transfer of the message in a right direction. So myelinated nerves fibers are found in cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Unmyelinated nerve fibers are found in somatic nerves and autonomic nerves, where they are present in dispersed way, where they can move to the direct specific sited organ and affect many of the cells in the same organ. So question number 42, answer A is 3 and 4. Option A is 3 and 4. B is 1 and 2. So answer for the question number 42, A is 3 and 4, B is 1 and 2. B is the answer. Question number 42, B is the answer, students.
Sir.
Sir. Hello, sir.
Stop on, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.